Hello, my fellow gnomes, and welcome. It's a bit rubbish just. Hello, my fellow gnomes, and welcome back to episode 2 of our tower defense series. Now, we're going to need to add in some more zombies to our game because at the moment it's a bit rubbish just having the one zombie. Now, obviously, we could create a few copies like this, we could duplicate them all, and we could then run the game. And oh, yeah, great reorganization to our project and our code in specifically, in order to get what we want. So the first thing we're going to do, well, I'm going to delete those extra ones, is I'm going to add in a script into server script service. And I think we'll just name this one main. This is going to be our main game script. And we're also going to add a module script. Okay, so inside of this, we're going to add in something called a module script. And we're going to name this one attacker, or maybe we'll just call this mob for shorthand, right? And if you're not too familiar with module scripts, then I've got a whole video all about that, which I'd suggest you checking out. We're going to continue here. So we're going to name our module to mob, and then obviously we need to return a mob. We want to add him, and the name is going to be mod. So let's put the name, and then maybe the map that we want to spawn them onto. And so then inside of our main script, we can then call this function. So just so we can check it's all working, we'll print out name and map. That's all we'll do here. And then back in our main script, we're going to want to access that module script. So local mob equals require, and we put script.mob. So then now inside our grassland, now at present we haven't actually a little bit more. So now I've got something that looks a little bit like a map. So we'll just call this grassland module script. Let's have a look. We'll say local mob exists equals, and we're going to need a variable for the server storage, actually. Always a good idea to put variables for services at the top. So we can say server storage equals game get service server storage. And then we will know that the mob is in the mobs folder inside of server storage. And then we're going to look for whatever they requested. So find first child and the name that they've passed to that parameter. So if the mob exists, then we can start to move it into the workspace. Move into workspace, that's just a comment. But else, if it doesn't exist, then we'll just leave some kind of a warning, shall we? Warn requested mob does not exist. And then maybe we'll just follow that up with the name that they were trying to get. But if they do exist, then we're going to want to clone it into the workspace. So local new mob this time equals that existing mob. And then we're going to clone it. Open close bracket. Once we've cloned it, then we're going to want to give it a parent. And there's one more thing we need to do. We need to set it a position. So how about we add in a new part into the grassland map. And we can just make this our starting point. Doesn't really matter what color or material it is, but I'll do this anyway. Right, we'll make it force field. Why not? Okay, something like this. So you can kind of see that. Maybe if it's red, it'll be easier to see. There we go. Okay, so that's our starting point. It's anchored, disable can collide. And then if we've got a map as well, we'll know that the new mob got its humanoid root part and set the C frame of that equal to the map dot start in the world. And we're going to set it to the position the map as well. We use that humanoid value. We are going to see zombie spawn in. So After we've done this, we've just cloned into the as well. And now if we run the script, obviously we don't want this to happen. We don't want the code running those parameters in. And to get them to have a lot of, and now on the 5th, and it's going to be churning out 100 zombies all coming out like that. And let's see if that's all working now. Click run again. Wave starting 1, we see at the top, and it's going to immediately start to spawn in the entire next wave of zombies. We've got loads of zombies being churned out, but we probably don't want them all coming out like this all together. So we'll, on the 4th wave, we've got a lot of zombies already. And now on the 5th, and it's going to be churning out 100 zombies right now. So we've got all manner of zombies being pumped out of the zombie factory. But we want to give the defending players a little bit of a chance. I don't think anyone's going to be surviving this, are they? So why is this loop just keeping going? We're spawning them in, we're waiting 1 second. Shouldn't it wait till all of these are spawned in? Well, if you remember, because we put it in this coroutine, we're actually not yielding at all. So this function isn't going to wait until they're finished moving. It's just going to spawn them in and it's going to go straight back to the main loop. So the way we want to fix this is we want to check that there's no more zombies on the map. And so instead of just putting them into workspace, like we're doing here, how about we create a folder inside of the map? And we're going to name this to be the mob folder. And so we can parent them to map.mob. And then inside of our main script, after all of our spawning, we can check. So every second, we will repeat until the map.mob get children equals 0. So the number of children, so the hash map.mob folder and get the children. And if it equals 0, then we'll stop looping. But otherwise, we will keep waiting. So we can wait every second, and every second we'll check, is the folder empty? And if it's not, we'll keep going. So now when we run that, we spawn in the 3 zombies, and these zombies will keep moving around now until that mob folder inside the grassland map is next wave spawns in, sort of base here, and we're going to need eventually a way to damage the attackers. But hopefully that's got you started with your wave-based attack system. We're making a decent bit of progress, I think, here. Hopefully you've followed up. And then we can Control X, Control V, and we'll set the collision group to. Now, one other thing you might have noticed is when I get close to these and I walk away, there's a little bit of a glitch in the movement. Did you see that? This sort of judder forwards and then backwards. You might be able to tell that when I get close and then walk away. It's subtle, but it is a change that's there. And the reason for that is to do with how Roblox's network physics work. So when I get close to an object, the game assigns me network ownership of it. And when I'm away, it's just the server. And the little gap that creates is what creates this little sort of jitter in movement. Now, we want it to be really smooth. So we're just going to give the server network ownership all the time rather than allowing the player to have any. So to do that, it's actually really simple. All we need to say is we're going to go into our mob spawn function. And after we've set the parent to the workspace, and we just put new mob dot humanoid root part, which should be its primary part, and we use the set network owner function, And the only parameter we have to give nil. Whereas if we do wait for child, each of them down here called animations, and then I put the animation inside of it. We're going to check that's present. So that will be equal to object humanoid, and it's going to be equal to the object. And we can do another wait for child again. So we'll copy that, wait for child, and it's going to be called walk. So if you've named your animation something different, make sure it's exactly the same. So mine is walk with an uppercase W. Some wait for the child, walk with an uppercase W. So if there's a walk animation, then we can start to load that animator. Look, we try to look for walk inside of the object itself, whereas we need to look for it in the animations folder, don't we? So we're going to go to the animations folder and then look for the walk animation object. There we go. And look at our animations. Here come the mechs. Here come the zombies. Awesome. And if we want to see, what else shall we see? Go back into our main script. How about we load in some noobs as well? Actually, right beneath it, we can spawn in some noobs. We'll spawn in 5 of them and quickly sprint to the front. Here they come. We can start to flesh this out a little bit. I mean, I'll leave it to you guys how complex you want to make it. But I'm probably going to add on a few more waves. So we're going to create 10 waves. And we can start to change some of the rules here. Okay, so I've created a bunch new rules now. So we'll just read through these, you can see what I'm doing. So if it's the first 2 waves, so if wave is less than or equal to 2, so 1 or 2, then it's going to spawn in. Actually, we don't want a teddy. I want to have just zombies. There we go. I was testing it out earlier. Just zombies. And if it's less than or equal to 4, so wave 3 and 4, then we're going to have zombies and noobs. And that's going to be equal to whatever the wave count is. And then we're going to do that inside of a for loop, look. So it's going to be repeated 5 times. So on the 3rd wave, for example, it's going to spawn in 3, and that will repeat 5 times. So we're going to end up with 15 zombies and 15 noobs and so on. Then for waves 5, 6, and 7, we're going to introduce some mechs as well. And then for waves 8 and 9, we're going to have mechs, noobs, zombies, more mechs, and we're going to introduce a teddy. And then finally, on wave 10, we're going to have 1 zombie. We're going to spawn in a bunch of mechs, teddies, zombies, and then finally another 10 teddies. So things are going to get pretty busy around here. I mean, you
Thank you.